Breaking news at midday. A former school board chair found guilty of assaulting a government employee may be off the hook. According to court documents, the prosecutor has filed to dismiss the assault charge against Kendall Rogers of Whiteville City Schools. A jury found Rogers guilty last month of attacking a Whiteville City Public Works employee. The employee accused Rogers of assaulting them and calling them a racial slur as they were putting down traffic cones to block a flooded road. Witnesses looked at store surveillance video and said the person in the video was Rogers. After the verdict, Rogers' attorney appealed and presented new video that showed that person may have been someone else who was with her. The prosecutor says the state is moving to dismiss the assault charge because they can't prove without a reasonable doubt if it was actually Rogers who did it. Rogers stepped down as chair of Whiteville City Schools but stayed on the board, saying she did not do anything wrong.